Hello and welcome to a new project. Here you can see the plan for today's project, a rather complex star design. The colors in the plan are just to indicate that I will be using different types of wood in those areas, so don't be confused by that. Now let's take a look at the wood veneers I will be using for this project. Patuk, chestnut, shisham, birch burl, plum, olive wood, maple and birch veneer. As you can see in the plan, the star consists of many small shapes. To cut these pieces precisely, I use the same craft paper I used to draw the plan. I attach the paper to the veneer, making sure that the grain pattern aligns as well as possible with the shape I want to cut. This helps prevent the corners from peeling off during the cutting process. Here are some of the pieces I've already cut. Now we move on to assembling the individual pieces. As the star consists of many small elements, achieving perfect symmetry is quite challenging. Even tiny inaccuracies can quickly add up and affect the overall appearance. To counteract this, I won't be assembling the star directly. Instead, I will embed the star piece by piece into birch veneer. For this, I am using craft paper again. I've sketched out a rough structure of the star on it. This guide allows me to cut the star with precision. Here you can see the cutout section. Now we can start inserting the first pieces of the star. This method helps minimize inaccuracy since the birch veneer acts as a stable frame. Once the section is complete, I secure everything with wood glue to ensure it stays in place. Here you can see the finished inner star made from Patuk veneer. Now I will continue in the same way for the rest of the star. I cut out a section, fill it with the small pieces and secure everything with wood glue. Here's the first completed section of the star. As you can see, I arranged the birch burl elements so that each piece has a unique grain pattern. This creates a beautiful effect. I will now repeat this process for the rest of the star. And here's the finished star. The method of using birch veneer as a frame worked really well. The star is symmetrical and the individual pieces fit together almost perfectly. Now let's move on to the ornaments surrounding the star. These will be made from olive wood and plum veneer. The two wood types complement each other beautifully, although olive wood veneer is a bit trickier to cut. I will follow the same process for the ornaments as I did for the star. Here you can see two finished ornaments, one large and one small. I complete the remaining ornaments in the same way. Now you can see the star with all its ornaments. The combination of olive wood and plum veneer creates a beautiful contrast. Now only the outer frame is missing to complete the star. I will follow the same process as before, cutting out the frame and filling it with small wooden pieces. Here's the finished star. The outer frame is still needed to give the star a defined border and make it stand out even more. The frame will be made from Edimore veneer. The small stars in the corners will be made from maple and black dyed tulip wood veneer. I begin with the stars in the corners, using the same technique as before. Here are the completed corners. The combination of maple and black tulip wood creates a striking contrast against the birch veneer. Now for the final step, the outer frame. Made from Edimore veneer, it gives the star a clean and professional border. To do this, I first cut the star into a rectangle and then fit the frame seamlessly around it. Here you can see the finished piece. The outer frame is still too large and will be trimmed to its final size after pressing, using the table saw. Now that the pattern is finished, let's move on to the final standard procedure. First we secure the front with veneer tape. Water is used to apply the tape. Next we remove the masking tape from the back. Here you can see the finished piece, which is now ready for pressing. During pressing, the veneer is pressed with wood glue onto a base plate. The back is also pressed with birch veneer directly. However, it is important to make sure that not too much wood glue is used. I always let everything dry overnight. Here you can see the piece after pressing. Now we can remove the veneer tape. Water is used for this as well. Here you can see the piece, now without the veneer tape. It doesn't look great right now, but after sanding and painting it will look really good. Now it will be cut accurately with the table saw and the outer edges will be veneered. After that, it just needs to be sanded and painted. This piece turned out really great. Now that the finish is applied, the grain of the birch burl stands out even more beautifully. What I especially like is the contrast between the dark and lighter veneers. The red Patchouli veneer really pops, adding an elegant accent to the piece. The combination of olive and plum veneer complement each other perfectly, giving the whole design a unique depth. The narrow frame was definitely the right choice. It frames the piece nicely without being too overpowering. Overall, I'm really happy with the result. I'm very satisfied with my veneer selection, and I think the final look feels perfectly balanced. I hope you like the finished piece as much as I do, and of course the video as well. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you for watching and see you next time.